All right, guys, let's go ahead and flip over to the NFC side of things and take a look at everyone's favorite division, the NFC East. The division had quite a few surprises in it, and we begin with Washington. Drink. So how'd you grade them?
I gave them a solid A. They had a pretty good draft. Listen, they number one, they took Chase Young, the defensive end out of Ohio State, second overall. I think we know what the Redskins are getting with him, so I'm moving on. And with their second pick, Antonio Gibson, the wide receiver out of Memphis, with the 66 pick. Listen, I found out while doing this that this guy also can play halfback. So once again, I get intrigued when you got guys that can play two positions at a high level. So I did hear that the Redskins are interested in that. And so he's a really, really versatile guy that can line up in multiple positions. I like that. Sign me up. And then with the third pick, Sadiq Charles, the offensive tackle out of LSU, they took him with the 108th pick overall. Listen, he's more of a pass protector than a run blocker, but his run blocking can get the job done. I expect him to be the replacement for Trent Williamson. So overall, I gave the Redskins an A. It was a good draft. Could have been better, but I gave him A.
Yeah, I gave him a C. I thought it was an average draft. I think at the second pick, when Chase Young is just staring you in the face, I'm not going to give you a whole lot of credit for getting that one right. And then they didn't have a second round pick, and then the third and fourth rounds, wide receiver wasn't needed for them. They got Antonio Gibson, they got Antonio Gandy Golden. We'll see how those two picks work out. I'm not all that sold on them, but I did like the Sadiq Charles pick. I think that was probably when you think about value, that was probably their best pick. And considering Trent Williams is now gone finally and rightfully so, I think that pick should work out very well for them. And when you talk about left tackles, if there was an attribute you'd want to have them, if you had to pick between pass blocking and run blocking, you'd probably want them to be a better pass protector. So I like that pick a lot.
Yeah, this is another top 5 team that didn't screw it up like we talked about kind of with the Dolphins. Pro Football Focus lead analyst Mike Renner said he believes Chase Young is bound for the Hall of Fame and is the highest rated prospect they've ever analyzed. So wouldn't it be some Redskins crap for them to take a quarterback instead or something, right? So I'm glad they didn't do it. Chase Young's going to be an immediate force for this team. And that front seven now. They have 5 first-round picks: Ryan Kerrigan, Deron Payne, Montez Sweat, and Jonathan Allen to go with Chase Young. Throwing the veteran leadership of Thomas Davis, that's kind of scary. That might be a really good unit right now.
They looking like the 49ers.
That's not fun to go up against. Antonio Gibson looks like a fun prospect, and he should help Dwayne Haskins out a lot. And then, Gandy Golden I think he's getting a possession receiver for a quarterback like Haskins is going to be really important. And Charles, like y'all talked about, he's a much higher talent with off the field issues. So getting guys like that on day 3 in the 4th round, that's a perfect time where you can just take some dice and just roll them on a dude like him. And he does seem like he can come in and start immediately or very soon. So that's obviously good to see. So, I like this draft. I'm not sure how much it helps him win this year, but I think it's a good class. It'll set Ron up for a while. I'll give it a B+. All right, Jay, we'll go over to the Giants. How do you grade the G-Men?
Not real sold on them. Just seemed like Dave Gettleman up to his usual nonsense. Andrew Thomas at the 4th pick. I would have took Isaiah Simmons, but they did have a need at offensive tackle. And not saying that Andrew Thomas won't be a good player. I just thought Jedrick Wills or Tristan Wirfs, those would have been I would have went with one of those guys, vice Andrew Thomas. I did like Xavier McKinney in the 2nd round. I think they did have a need at safety, and he was one of the better safety prospects in this draft. So I really like that. But after that, nothing really popped for me as far as what I was seeing. They didn't get any better on the defensive line. That was curious to me with the pass rush issues they've had in the past. And then 4 of their last 5 picks were at that linebacking core. So when you take that into consideration, I wasn't all that impressed with them.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite end of this one, Jay. I gave him an A+ because it's an offensive league, so it seemed like they're trying to catch up with the times of everybody else. But with their first pick, Andrew Thomas, the offensive tackle out of Georgia, that took him 4th overall. Hey, he looks as it's been told that he has the most balance of all the offensive tackles, which is high praise with the level of offensive tackles that we had in this draft that got taken. And with that said, listen, he can pass block, run block at a very, very high level. What more do you need to see in today's NFL when you got that 4th pick? And then with that second pick, they took Xavier McKinney, the safety out of Alabama, with the 36th pick. Hey, should have been a first rounder, but he slid to the second round. A very, very solid tackler for a safety. That is very important because that's kind of what you want. I mean, cover skills does matter, but you need a safety that can tackle in today's league. And he did not give up a lot of touchdowns as a safety when he was with Alabama. So I do see him being a day one starter. We'll see how that goes. And then with the third pick, Matt Peach, the offensive tackle out of UConn, went 99th overall. I didn't even know UConn put out draft. But listen, he did come out of UConn. And he probably won't be a day one starter. I mean, I seen some, a few little clips. He probably won't be a day one starter, but I do see by year's end, he ends up in the rotation with help from spring practice, with spring training, help from preseason, and as well as the regular season itself. He could, break that offensive line and get some playing time.
Yeah, this is a draft I'm fairly high on. I'm kind of in the middle, but I would lean a little bit towards Drink. Andrew Thomas, I think for all the talk the other guys got, for a while, Andrew Thomas was the highest rated guy. And then, as the draft approached and these other guys crept up the boards. But bottom line with Thomas is he dominated in the SEC against the best talent around week in and week out. I mean, the SEC just put 500 people in the NFL just in this one draft. So, he's real solid. I think as a guy, you take it number 4, you're not going to be mad about it. What I like about it is the vision. You have Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley is the heart of your offense. And not only did you take him, you went back to the offensive line with the guy Drink mentioned, and then LeMahieu in the 5th round, who could be kind of a sleeper as well. He's a mean, mauling run blocker. So I like that the team has a clear vision, and that vision is through Saquon Barkley's massive legs. I love it. And then, McKinney, like y'all said, McKinney is a guy that, for all the talk Isaiah Simmons got, McKinney has a little bit of Isaiah Simmons in him. I mean, he can do a lot more than just be flying around as a ball hawk and safety. The dude can do a lot of stuff, and that's going to be a big help on a Giants defense. They got to feel like, they didn't get Isaiah Simmons. They got a dude that probably wasn't too far off in the 2nd round and got their big fella up front in the 1st round. I do agree with Jay. The linebacking additions late in the day in the draft were like, okay, what do we need this many linebackers? That half these dudes are going to make the roster? I would like to see him maybe tap this good wide receiver class again, or go through that pass rusher problem. But overall, I like the draft, I like the vision, and I like it for the Giants. All right, Drink, everyone's favorite team, the Cowboys are up next. They seem to have done pretty well.
Yeah. I gave the Cowboys an A. I wasn't overly disappointed in anything. They caught me by surprise, I guess. But listen, CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver out of Oklahoma, they took him 17 overall. The fact that the Cowboys even got this guy is outrageous. And that just tells you what happened in front of them. It wasn't like the Cowboys traded up for him or anything. But look, it's just like the saying goes, the rich get richer. And that's exactly what the Cowboys did here. Now, Dak got 3 number 1 targets to throw to. And so it's no excuses, Dak. You got what you need. Let's make it happen. And listen, I think when it's all said and done, CeeDee Lamb is in a very good position to make a all-offensive team of some sort this year when it's all said and done. I would see him probably playing in the slot. And listen, I'll tell you, it's going to be hard to stop this offense this year. And then second, Trayvon Diggs, the cornerback out of Alabama. They took him 51st overall. Listen, when you look at the tape of Trayvon Diggs here, I mean, it's some tape out there where he could play better. But at the end of the day, he came to Alabama as a wide receiver. He switched to cornerback. It is what it is. He's a very, very athletic guy, and he's the type of cornerback that the Cowboys was looking for. So it was a no-brainer that they went out and got him at 51. But he does need to clean up his technique because that's not going to fly in the NFL. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of guys that get paid a lot of money that should be able to help him with that. So with that said, he should definitely be somewhere in the mix to be a day one starter for the Cowboys. And then number 3, Neville Garman, the defensive tackle out of Oklahoma. They took him 82nd overall. Hey, very, very fast, athletic type of defense line. I mean, this guy, if he gets any faster, they're going to put him on the end. I think he would fit like a glove with that Dallas defensive line, what they want to do. So I thought very, very solid draft with their first 3 picks. So I gave the Cowboys an A.
B+ for me for the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb, a little bit of a luxury pick. I thought they were well stocked at wide receiver, but they're going to be awfully tough to stop now with the guy that was arguably the best wide receiver prospect in this draft. And it's just one of those situations where, I mean, they probably looked at their board and said, this guy's still there. We have to take him. Almost kind of what happened to Arizona with Isaiah Simmons. Trayvon Diggs, Reggie Robinson, the cornerbacks they picked up. Cornerback definitely in need after Byron Jones left. At Gallimore in the 3rd round, I saw a lot of second round grades for him, so that was good value there. At Wisconsin center that they got, Tyler Biadasz out of Wisconsin. We know Travis Frederick is gone, so they needed help there. And so overall, I think they did a very good job. B+ for Dallas. And oh, by the way, not to put words in Drink's mouth, but Dak, I think he's talking about wins, not passing yards.
Yeah, I think Dallas, besides maybe Baltimore, was the team that got the most value out of their draft, just pure value picks. Again, Lamb following them at 17, that's incredible. I mean, thank you, Las Vegas Raiders, for that one. But him and Judy were kind of the 1A, 1B of the class. And putting him aside from Cooper, not only it's a home run because it gives you an extra threat at wide receiver, but you also get that little bit of an out later on with Cooper's contract if you want to shed some salary when you start paying Dak a whole small island GDP worth of money, whatever. And then you come back in the 2nd round, you get Trayvon Diggs, a guy that easily could have went in the 20s, but based off his abilities. And he gets fit what they like in corners. So that's a home run. And then Gallimore, I don't know if he was the dream for what they wanted. I know Kalavon Chasen was the guy they were eyeing in that 17th spot originally. I think they wanted a true edge rusher across from DeMarcus Lawrence. But hey, when you got a guy, again, that's over 30 spots of big board value, that outweighs that. And this guy can still be quite the force inside. And if you get that force, that disruption inside, you don't need home run edge rushers to get home. I mean, you just got to have some dudes that can get there. So, I can even say on day 3, like you said, Jay, with the Wisconsin lineman, he fell way past where he should have. I mean, it was just like every time they came up to draft, they had another guy that they couldn't pass up on. And he's also a hell of a paver of a run blocker. So, hey, Zeke, here you go. Here's another dude to help you mow people over in the rushing attack, which you should be doing anyway. So I don't know what I could knock on this draft. So I'm giving it an A. All right, Jay, we'll wrap up with the Eagles, possibly the most interesting of the drafts. What did you think about them?
Yeah, and by interesting, I'm gonna take that as saying they didn't do a very good job. They get the first well below average grade with the hot D+ in here, primarily with what they did in the first 2 rounds. Jalen Reagor, I guess I can understand the fascination with him, but Cody talked about it on the last show, I believe. This is a guy that got some suspect hands. When you talk about all the drops that the Eagles had last season, I don't think you want to bring a guy in that has some hands issues. And Deshaun Jackson, last time I checked, he's still there. So you still got that burner. I was thinking you probably needed a guy that could make some 50-50 type catches, a little bit more of a physical specimen out there. But they went the speed route. We'll see how it goes. And then this is absolutely no knock against Jalen Hurts. I like him a lot. I think he deserves a chance to play in the NFL. I think we know he's a high character guy. He's a winner. To me, in the Eagles, it just didn't make a whole lot of sense. I know Carson Wentz, he got some injury concerns. We know this, but I would be of the mindset that if you wanted Jalen Hurts, wouldn't you want him behind a guy in a system that would fit his skill set? Doug Peterson's a smart guy. I'm sure he'll have some creative things up his sleeve, but I'm just not sold on that pick. I didn't think it made a whole lot of sense to me. And then after that, they did bring in Kayvon Wallace. They needed a little help at the safety position, but I'm not real high on him. And then their other wide receiver prospects, John Hightower, Quez Watkins. I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. But it's really those first 2 picks that I got the most gripe with. D+.
I'm with Jay. I gave him a C+, but I'm with Jay as far as once this is all said and done, I think the Eagles are going to be pretty close to the bottom of my draft. I drafted pretty reasonable, but I graded pretty reasonable, but I don't know the Eagles. I don't know. So with that first pick, Jalen Reagor, wide receiver out of TCU with the 21st pick, like Jay said, I agree with him on this. I think this pick should have been Justin Jefferson. I don't know how it ended up being Reagor. In my book, it's not a terrible pick, but I think the Eagles got enough speed. They need more hands, So I don't know. Maybe they seen some. I don't know. Whatever. So with the second pick, they went with Jalen Hurts, the quarterback out of Oklahoma, with the 53rd pick. Listen, I seen this, and I'm assuming that the Eagles are concerned about Carson Wentz staying healthy. That's all I can see out of this. I don't know why you picked Jalen Hurts that high. I don't think he would have left the board that high. But hey, maybe if Carson Wentz go down, now you had an athletic quarterback to keep things going. Sure. So once he does get on the field, though, I will say it will be fun to see him out there because he's a different type of quarterback. Jay mentioned the character. He's a guy that's going to come in, even though he's a rookie. He got leadership dripping off his cleats. So he'll come in, make some things happen. So that's a very, very interesting quarterback room there for the Eagles. Then you got Devin Taylor, the linebacker out of Colorado, which they took with the 103rd pick. Solid linebacker. But I'm not overly impressed with what I've seen of him. I watched some clips of him against Pac-12 competition, and let me just tell you, maybe he might be a better pro. I'm just not overly sold with that. It is, but it is what it is. So I guess we'll see what we see. It is. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I think what makes this draft so interesting to them is that this really it has a chance to be amazing. I mean, or it could be horrible. Like I feel like this draft is kind of this complete boom or bust sort of scenario. You know, Rager does have this elite athletic ability who had horrendous quarterback play at TCU, but he has all the problems you guys just mentioned. So is he your future Deshaun Jackson, or is he some dude that's going to flame out in a year or two? You know, is Jalen Hurts your franchise quarterback in the second round? If you pick a quarterback mid to high in the second round, to me, he's your franchise quarterback, or you're tying your horse to him. Or is he some gadget player, Taysom Hill type dude that you burned a second round pick on? You know, I'm not sold on Hurts in the next level. I'm rooting for him as well. I love him as a person. I'm really glad he landed with a good staff and organization. He can just like follow the Redskins or some random Jaguars, whatever, some crap like that. But you know, when you look at the team overall, your window is still open, in my opinion, with this team. There's still a lot of talent, a lot of things to like about the Eagles. And Wentz is still on sort of the cheaper half of his contract. He's $18 million hit this year. He's north of 30 next year and beyond. And you could have spent your rounds 1 through 4 a lot better to give yourself a lot better chance to succeed, not only in the future, but also right now. You know, I like some of the linebacker depth pickups. That's good. They always need some of these guys. They need some corners. You got a project wide receiver. Prince Tega in the 7th round. That was hot. That was robbery. That was one of the most criminally robbed picks of the draft. So good for them on that. But overall, this was a really volatile draft, and I don't know if that's what the Eagles needed. So I'm pretty pessimistic. I'm going to give it a C+.